So before we get started, I was recently accepted into Epic's Support a Creator program. So anytime you buy things like Platinum or V-Bucks or even buy a game, if you'd be cool enough to throw in It's Alona at checkout under your creator code, that'd be really awesome. It sends me a percentage of what you purchase and really will help me continue to create content for Dauntless and for whatever else may come. Thank y'all so much, and let's get started. So I've had a lot of people ask me in my streams and just in general things like what build am I using, how long did it take me to get to this point, what cells are good, what armor is good, and I said, you know what, it's about time I just made some damn tutorials. So here it is, this is my first Dauntless guide. I'm going to be making a couple of videos in this series I'm calling How to Dauntless, but I don't want to upload 30-minute videos to YouTube just to tell you guys that +6 overpower and +6 rage hunter is good. I'm going to try to keep these things short and sweet, but while remaining very informative. Please note that this is also just my personal opinion. If you watch this and say, hey, I want to wear full Ember main armor all the time, don't tell me how to live my life, then go for it. But if you actually want to get something done in this game and don't necessarily know where to begin, then I think that this video will be a pretty good start. Now, just to get this out of the way, you're not going to start off this game and within a week be clearing solo Dauntless Trials. That's just not what this guide is intended to be. Dauntless is a bit of a grind, just like all Monster Hunter style games. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. So enjoy it. Enjoy these behemoths while they're fresh and new to you. I'm just here to help you guys not die 100 times a fight. So it's been a minute since I've started a new account, but I did just watch my girlfriend start the game, get all of her gear and cells up to my level within a month of very casual gameplay. So living vicariously through her, I think I can give you guys a few builds to start off with and some to actually build towards. But first things first, let's discuss weapons. There are currently 7 weapons in the game as of February 2020, and starting off there are 2, maybe 3 that really shine. And once you complete the tutorial and land in Ramsgate, you can change your weapon through the equipment screen. From the get-go, I'd personally recommend using the sword or chain blades. Both are very well-balanced weapons that allow you to complete all the content Dauntless currently has to offer. Some people enjoy though those slower, harder hitting weapons, and to that end I'd recommend using the hammer. Now the axe, the warpike, and even the repeaters, they all do shine late game once you have the appropriate cells and perks to accompany them. Also, a few quests into the game, you'll unlock the Aether Strikers, which are also very strong weapons early to late game as well. So for the purpose of this guide, I'm going to be demonstrating the builds with the chain blades equipped. Our first goal is to get you out of that recruit armor. The first behemoth you run into is Lesser Gnasher, and some of his armor is actually very good and used in plenty of in-game builds. This step is optional, but I'd recommend hunting him a time or two just to craft his entire armor set. Now this is going to be the only time I tell you to hunt in a behemoth's entire armor set outside of hunting them for their masteries, which is something I'll cover in another video. So now that you got some gear on you, you got your weapon picked out, it's time for our first build. But just a quick note here, don't over obsess about getting all your perks to +6 in the beginning. You're not going to have the cells once you start anyway, so seriously don't sweat it. Again, not stressing too hard about our perks and our cells, this beginner build is just trying to give you some survivability while also helping you out push out some damage. Now, I'm not going to go into super duper detail about the perk selections here, I'll be saving that for my middleman how-to video, but a good thing to note is that in all the builds I'm about to show you, they all include Boreus' boots. You'll want to make it a priority to get these to +10 as soon as possible. Because once you have +6 Iceborne, as long as you dodge every once in a while, you'll basically be able to tank every single behemoth in the game. The reason you want to get his boots to +10 is because leveling up your gear also levels up the perk that's intrinsic to that armor piece. But at level 1, you'll have +1 Iceborne. At level 6, you'll have +2 Iceborne. And at level 10, you'll have +3 Iceborne. This will drastically help you get to +6 Iceborne as fast as possible. And you may ask, why am I so focused on getting these to +6 first? Well, that's because once you at least have +4 Iceborne, you'll get lifesteal on top of your damage reduction. And so with this build, you have Drask Helmet, Gnasher Chest, Gnasher Legs, and Boreus Boots that I've been talking about forever, but seriously, like, they are so good. And what's great about this build is that all of these behemoths all have lesser versions of themselves. This is what I'm talking about, so neutral behemoths, you got Lesser Gnasher right there, got Lesser Boreus right there, and you've got Lesser Drask right there. So you'll notice I chose to use the Boreus chain blades with this set, and I feel like that's because up until you get the Inferno Fangs, which are crafted from Hellion parts, these weapons are the best all-around beginner weapon. They have conditioning on them, which will help you with your stam regen. The unique effect does do damage and stacks with our DPS perks. The elemental chance just to freeze the behemoth and slow him down during your hunts, and then also Hellion's weak against ice, and that's who you craft the Inferno Fangs from, so that's a bonus also. So an all-around great weapon to start off the game with. And with this gear, you'll be fine all the way up to and even past Hellion. However, it is built to be a little more tanky, and once you unlock Hellion, that's when we can take a little bit of that survivability away and start working towards doing some real damage. Now this build is what I would consider a mid to late game build. And you're going to want to make sure you have at least +5 Iceborne before attempting to even use this build, because it's what's considered as a low life build. Now the thing is though, Iceborne heals you up to 50% of your health. And when you rock a low life build, you're locked in at that 50%. So that means that you have a permanent lifesteal perk and a permanent damage reduction the entire time you're rocking this low life build. But I don't want you to think of a low life build as an actual low life build, because you're actually better off sitting at 50% HP with Iceborne active than you would be sitting at full. But in order to make a low life build, however, you're going to have to do some trials. And now I know what you're thinking, Alona, the fuck bro, I don't even have trials unlocked. Well, don't worry. All you need to buy these cells are steel marks, which you can get from normal trials and from the hunt pass. And so if you just head over to Twitch, find a streamer playing, ask them for a normal trial carry, they're gonna do it for you. Normal trials are a joke, and the Dauntless Twitch community is freaking amazing. Someone will definitely help you. Someone like me, myself at Twitch, you've got DS the Original, Bad by Myself, you've got Nazu, you've got Ledimp, you've got Urban Weirdo. I'm just naming a couple of them, but I'm gonna leave all of their links to everyone I just named in my description below. So if you just go follow them, like them, say, hey, help me out, they will definitely carry you through it. So you finish your trial, you head back over to Lady Luck, you buy your +3 Discipline cell. I also recommend purchasing the +3 Berserker cell as well. You can actually change out the Wild Frenzy slot with Berserker, but I wouldn't recommend going +6 with that Berserker cell quite yet, since you lose a decent chunk of HP and we're already sitting there at half health. However, running +3 Wild Frenzy and +3 Berserker is completely manageable. Another thing to note is, when you run a half health build, you get the complete benefit of not just Iceborne, but Wild Frenzy and Rage as well. So every hunt with this build, you have 30% damage reduction and 8% lifesteal, 25% overall increased damage from Rage, and 20% overall increased attack speed from Wild Frenzy. Not to mention, this build also runs +6 Overpower, which gives you 60% more damage to stagger behemoths, and also has +6 Rage Hunter, which gives you 40% more damage to enraged behemoths. So you're looking at, when just the behemoth is mad, you're looking at an extra 65% damage to that behemoth. And then if you happen to stagger him, break apart, knock him down, whatever, boop him, interrupt him, you're looking at an extra 125% damage when he's enraged and knocked over. The build is nuts. And just for icing on the cake, the reason why Hellion weapons are so damn good, I hope they don't get tuned down, they probably will, I don't know, but the reason why they're so good is this little unique ability here. Well, there's a couple of reasons actually. The 2 power slots, freaking awesome, and then overpower on the weapon inherently is freaking awesome as well. But this unique ability it has, the 10th hit in a row deals 250 damage plus major blaze damage, even against Blaze Behemoths. These Hellion Fangs, outside of trials, are the way to go, because now you might not be putting fire on fire, I get it, whatever, but that 250 extra damage on the 10th hit, and you gotta remember, we're using fast-ass weapons here. Light, heavy, you're gonna get those 10 hits procced all the time, not to mention, running with Serrated Blades, getting an extra, guaranteed crit when this procs, it's disgusting. So you have a guaranteed crit when Serrated Blades proc. If that happens to be your 10th hit in a row, it's 250 damage, and all of that damage stacks with every single damage perk we have over here. Last but not least, this is my favorite build to run in the game. I actually use it everywhere outside of trials with just about every weapon as well. It's a very late game build. It uses an exotic called Skullforge, which is actually dropped from Heroic Patrols or Heroic Plus Patrols. You can also farm out Heroic Charog for it, but I just recommend running the Heroic Patrols. Anyways, with this build, you basically have infinite stamina. The build rocks +6 conduit, so it also increases your attack speed as well as your group's attack speed by 15% every time you use your Hold Lantern ability. That combined with Emberbane's tap ability, along with +6 Wild Frenzy, ends up giving you 60% attack speed, with every swing dealing 25% more damage thanks to Rage, and if you stagger the behemoth, another 60% damage too thanks to Overpower. So with unlimited dodges and using your Reaper's Dance smartly, you're basically a mobile as fuck Live Lord that deals a ton of damage. And with this build, anytime I run Sword, I run the Sword mod Whistling Blade, because Whistling Blade and Skullforge actually complement each other extremely well, as you can see right here. And there you have it, y'all, my first ever Dauntless guide and the first video in the How To Dauntless series. I want to thank everybody for y'all's continued support. Follow me over on Twitch to catch me when I go live. Comment below and tell me what builds you use and how to play a fucking axe, because I'm terrible with them. And until next time, thank y'all so much for watching.